Welcome to another 10 on 1 from Coppola-Cheney Group. Today, I'm super excited to have Maria Luna. She's the founder of Famigo, which is a company that is Latina owned and minority ownership. And I've been fortunate to be the early investor. So I've been with Maria with the company it's been 5 years now, huh? Welcome.
Thank you. My pleasure.
It has been such a journey. So, we're going to talk today about minority ownership, but really tell us about the startup, because this is really your first startup. You have an MBA from University of Texas, but tell us what's been like the last 5 years.
It's been like a roller coaster. If somebody asks you what a startup life is, I describe it exactly like that. There are days that you're shaking Mark Cuban's hand, and then the next day you're just like, what are we going to do with this pandemic? So a lot of great things, memories, but I say always the journey is what is super worthwhile.
So you talk about the journey, but the journey was really in the genesis of the company was, again, your Latina roots, it's your mother. And so I know you've leaned on this many, many times over the last 5 years. Tell us about this roller coaster and how being a woman and a Latina woman at that, a Puerto Rican, how that has affected your tenacity, maybe.
Well, you are born to be resourceful, I guess, when when you have to stretch those dollars, and that always helps when you look at the bottom line in a startup, right? Or any company, as a matter of fact. It doesn't matter how far we go and how big we will get, I will always look at us as a startup. So when you look at the statistics, I don't want any women or any minority out there to get discouraged, because the majority of the capital doesn't get invested in us. That's a reality. Depending on which statistics you look, it's about anywhere from 0.04% to 2% gets invested in our businesses. So what I decided to do was, not only I was going to change it for my company, but also going forward. So what I do is I volunteer sometimes to help other women to navigate this or other minority businesses.
So less than 2% of all startup money goes to female founders.
Correct.
How about to Latina? Is there any stats out there even on that, or is it just
the one that I looked at? I can look at the source, sorry that I don't have it top of my mind, but it's from one of these universities, top universities in USA, and it was 0.04%.
So not very little money. Do you find that as a woman in the business, that people, is there a barrier versus male? Do you find that? I know that the money is not there for investing in the company, but have you found it harder to grow the business?
No, because like I said, whenever there is a barrier, I see it as, how do I go around it? Not like, okay, here's a barrier, I'm going to stop. And as a society, as we understand and progress, right? Like societies have progressed from many, many eras. I think it's a matter of fact of every investor saying women are as capable. Actually, we are very resourceful from when you're home and when you go out. And it's a matter of changing those perceptions that a male is going to be more successful at running businesses. Actually, if you look at the real statistics, some favor women and some just say that we are just as capable.
So you now, is the company 5 years old now? Is that?
Yes, and it's the power of being driven by purpose. Because if you are driven by money, or if you are driven by any other thing than a noble purpose that you're trying to pursue, obviously in a good business model, you can give up. So we pivoted during the pandemic, and we had things that we had in the pipeline that we released sooner. Thank God that we are constantly listening to our customers and users, and we knew what they needed. And we just released to the market sooner than what we expected some of the tools that we needed.
One of the, this driven by purpose thing, and I know you live it, it's allowed you to have some people in the company that you've co-opted your vision to them, and they've been around the company for a long time. have taken a lot less money than they could have in the free marketplace. And is that because that you've been able to share your vision with them or your purpose? And have they bought into it?
Well, absolutely, and it has to be aligned with their own purposes. If people would stick around on the money that they could make with us, it wouldn't be a reality. But the reason is we all see, and every single week when we as a team we talk, we know that the progress is there. We know that we are closer and closer to bringing this to the level that we want to bring it, and then we're guided by the same purpose, which is that everybody that does anything, they should be able to do it and make a good living out of it. That you shouldn't sacrifice passion for money. And we're trying to break those barriers where for content creators of all kinds, I'm talking about filmmakers, podcasters, musicians, all kinds of content creators can make a real living doing what they love.
And you might just explain what Famigo does. It's content creators posting, and they're not giving away all of their income to the app, if you will.
Correct. It's like we see it's your content, it should be your rules. So we're not right now, any content creator, and we have talked to thousands of them, they feel hostage of any platform because they either are designed to keep the majority of the money that comes to the platform, or they are designed with rules and algorithms that punish them if they do something that is not according to the rule of the community. It's complex. So what we did is like, let's get rid of funky algorithms. Let's bring organic back. I don't know if you remember the origins of social media, where you posted something and your friends and family, and that's why we call Famigos, family and friends, would see it. So now there's a cumbersome world of you have to pay to be visible. And then if you do this, I'm going to take your content down. And we said, let's get rid of funky rules. Let's just make it work for the content creators and they keep the majority of the money. Obviously, we have to keep the doors open, so we get a small percentage.
So let's talk about when you founded the company and where you are today. Could you break down your day? I know there's going to be people listening to going, hey, what is when you started the company, what was if you could break it into the major components, and then what are you doing today on a daily basis?
Well, when we started, I started, and I recommend this to any of your listeners, it's the business Canva model. And the reason for that is you get to experiment and sandbox on a lot of things that resonate with your consumers, because let's say you start with an idea, right? And a purpose. And then you think you have it all sorted out in your mind. And then once you start to talk to customers, they change the whole thing because it's about serving them and their needs. So we spent a lot of time in customer discovery phase, and everything was very modular, where we started to experiment with different things. Is it managing gratuities for them? Is it allowing them to then share more with their content, with their fans and whatnot? And that's what took us to this journey, listening over and over the same problems, which is, if I'm not famous, I cannot make money on social media. If I am not famous, I don't have these tools. Or if I don't even understand the rules anymore to make money. So we listen, and then we build things for anybody, musicians, and they're their own publishers. They put their content out there, they publish it, and we're going in still in phases, because at the beginning was all of that experimenting. Then we proved product to market fit after that. And then we developed a marketing playbook, so we understand very well how to attract those customers and how to bring value to them. And now we're in this phase of growth and seeing that beautiful network effect. Now we're in the world.
So you're growing the company now, but tell me what you personally do on a daily basis. Give me, if you had a 50-hour work week, which I know would be small for you, but what would you do during the 50 hours as a percentage?
At the beginning, it was like, I would say 60% talking to customers or potential customers and learning from their no's more than their yeses. And then I spend a lot of time with the team, then trying to interpret that and see how we will move forward. But now it's more of a balanced amount of time of meeting with my team. We don't make long meetings. I don't believe in long meetings. They're not effective. Everybody knows the purpose of each meeting and what we're going to accomplish, and we move forward from them. So I would say I divided between still talking to customers, but not now 60% of my time or 50. And then talking to my team and partnerships. That's a big part of my day, developing partnerships.
And so you're good at that. You're developing partnerships. And I really want to end on that. You've said at least a couple of times today, born to be resourceful, and to listening to my customers 60%, and now partnerships, which seems like this is the evolution, right? I'm resourceful and I listened, and now I'm really collaborating. So explain that. How do you view that with everybody? You start with, hey, I'm going to give this to you, or how do you develop partnerships?
One customer brings you to the other, and then now instead of going to individual customers, we're going to groups and conglomerates, because with one activity you hit a bunch of content creators that you can benefit. So now it's more discussing those values with, for example, soccer teams, or people that manage influencers or agencies and that sort.
So
record labels.
Record label, you get, it's really great. So I'm really excited. If you could use 1 or 2 words to sum up your last 5-year journey as a founding minority Latina business, what would that word be?
One, I cannot say it, but starts with bad. And then starts with A. But the other thing I would say is
I can say it, badass.
Badass woman. But
That's
I
a
would
good
say the other one I would say is it's resilience because of being driven by a purpose.
I love it. I love it. That is awesome. Thank you, Maria Luna.
Thank you. My pleasure.